Hello there, welcome to the Green Technology video lectures. In this video lecture, we are discussing about are higher payment rates warranted for sinks in the warmer climates. As we know that the cold climates and warmer climates, in the cold climates, there is an assumption is that it will absorb the less amount of the carbon dioxide, but in the warmer climates there is enough sunlight is there, then photosynthesis is going to be in a better condition so that it will absorb the good amount of the carbon dioxide. On this basis, these warmer countries are going to be expecting the more amount of the incentives than the colder countries. So in this case, absorption capacity we are going to be discussing. So the carbon absorption capacity, carbon sinks in warmer regions is known theoretically much higher than the colder regions. This is what we are going to be expecting. So then a tree located in a cold or a temperature climates, so then what will happen? If it is going to be absorbed in the lifetime in the cold site, it's the 1 ton of the CO2 within its lifetime. But when it comes to the warmer countries, the photosynthesis is going to be good and faster, and then its chances are there to absorb around 2 to 2.5 ton of the carbon emissions. So this is the theory what it is going to be expecting. So in continuation of that, the careful study will need to be instituted. So in this case, we need to go with the methodology, and we need to do a good research on this one, whether the statement is going to be true or false. So on that basis, the incentives are going to be providing. If more studies could show this to be true, then we need to provide the more incentives or the payments to the warmer countries than the cold. So sustainability is also the important. What is the sustainability in this case? Whether this balancing of source and sinks will be sustainable in the long run. So that also we need to be a good question. We should not forget that in future, sinks must increase as the rate of the source do. This is very clear. The sinks means here, that means carbon absorbing bodies like forest, water bodies, wetlands and oceans must be increased as the rate as the source do. And some clever social engineering has to be a practice to keep the people interested in looking after the sinks to continue reducing the carbon accumulations. So it means that we need to train the social people so that they will maintain these sinks in a proper way, so that carbon emissions and accumulations also chances are they are going to be reducing. So the system must be generate some new funds. So as we know, while doing this kind of things, it's required a special fund. So that's where we are going to be getting. The fund should be used to give back some income to the local people so that they are motivated to ensure its sustainability. So that the new funds will going to be helpful to train the local people. At the same time, they are going to be finding some kind of the resources to develop these carbon sinks. So that amount must be used in that way. So in conclusion, as the sinks and source do not have to be adjacent to each other, so then what will happen in that case? Many countries located in warmer regions must get attracted to protect their forest and cultivate new forest and new sinks dedicated to absorb the CO2 from source and located elsewhere. So these are the warmer countries are getting the opportunity to cultivate the new forest and develop the new carbon sinks. The carbon trading mechanism under the Kyoto protocol already practiced this concept, and it should be continued as to greatly increase its coverage. So then what will that's the intensive incentives, everything will going to be transferring. It should make it financial worthwhile to cultivate new dedicated sinks in every country, especially the countries in warmer regions. The advantage of the proposed approach. So who will get the most advantage? The cold countries have a lot of factories, suppose, and the warmer countries, they are going to be generating a lot of carbon sinks. On that basis, they are going to be balancing is going to be expected. So then what else we are going to be see? The countries are no longer divided into rich as well as the poor. So then in this case, they are going to be equally they are going to be look at equal level. There is no rich and the poor countries. Each country can exploit its own resource as the best as it can, because equal emphasis is given to mitigation and carbon absorption, right? So that is the advantage we do have. The countries that are richer in technology located in colder regions can concentrate on source reduction, while those located in warmer regions can concentrate on their forest and other wealth of sinks so to speak here. As we told that the technology and the very good industrialization is happen in the cold countries, but the same thing not happen in the warmer countries like India and this Africa. So then in this case what will happen? So those people will going to be develop the different types of the carbon sinks. The richer and poorer countries as well as the countries in the cold and warmer regions must all feel that they are making an equal contribution. Moreover, high rates of the payment could act as a welcome incentives and developing the new sinks. It's giving a new opportunity, the new employability to the local people and the tribal people so that they can grow the more trees, forests to absorb the CO2 and develop the water bodies for the same purpose. So that means the incentives whatever you are providing, it will helpful to equip with the new kind of the carbon sinks as well as the water bodies where it can absorb the better carbon dioxide. It would be make people exercise greater vigilance against the deforestation. Yes, because we are providing the incentives, it means that the people are going to be more vigilant and they are going to be feel more responsible to protect their forest, not for going for the deforestation. The harvest followed by the groundwater recharge, since water could be the greater demand than ever before. In this case, that water also they are going to be harvesting. The effect of the temperature on the rate of photosynthesis. As we know that the photosynthesis is going to be occurring in the plants by converting the CO2 into the oxygen. So then how that's going to be happen? So this is going to be, we need to consider here. First we need to understand here how the photosynthesis is going to be working. So as we know that the photosynthesis defines the process which the plant and some bacteria manufacture glucose. That we are going to be summarizing here, carbon dioxide plus water. So this in this case what happens, CO2 plus H2O, that's going to be converted into glucose plus oxygen. The oxygen is going to be released into the atmosphere. At the same time glucose is going to be consumed by the plant. So this process occurs with a special structure called chloroplasts located at the cells of the leaves. So what will happen at the low temperatures? As we know, the protein molecules, the enzymes are going to be working at the protein molecules by a living organism to carry out the biochemical reactions. The proteins are folded into very particular shape and this allows them to bind efficiently to the molecules of interest. At low temperatures like 30 to 50 Fahrenheit minus, that means 0 to 10 degrees, the enzyme that carry out photosynthesis do not work efficiently. And this decreases the photosynthetic rate. So this is the low temperatures, they are going to be, this problem is going to be there. That means the enzyme is not going to be work at its own capacity, rather than it is going to be working at the reduced level because of the temperatures. And that leads to the decrease in the glucose production, will result stunted the growth in this case. So if it is the medium temperatures, so the medium temperatures we are going to be calling 10 to 20 degrees. So in this case the enzyme can work at the optimum level and photosynthesis rates gauge high. So there in this case what will happen, that enzyme will going to be working at its own capacity. And these optimum temperatures, the limiting factor becomes the diffusion of the carbon dioxide into the leaves. If suppose the high temperatures, that's going to be varying 40 degrees and above. In this case what will happen, that the enzyme will going to be subjected to the high temperature, it will going to be lose the photosynthesis and the functionality, and it's going to be reducing drastically the absorbing of the carbon dioxide. So what is the outset from this discussion? So in this case what will happen, how we need to encourage the local people and how to create the opportunities to the people who are improving the carbon sinks in terms of the forestations, in terms of the water bodies creations or wetlands creations, and all these are going to be the important. So first we need to understand the absorption capacity, and sustainability is also the important advantage of the proposed approach. That means colder countries must pay higher packages or incentives to the warmer countries. The effect of the temperature on rate of photosynthesis and how the photosynthesis is going to be working at low temperatures, at medium temperatures and high temperatures that we have seen. So overall it is going to be said that the colder countries have a less carbon absorption capacity is there compared to the warmer countries. So thank you. So for more updates, follow the channel.